Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Turn on your mics. Welcome everyone to the Planning Commission meeting for Credit River as of Thursday, December 18th. And we are missing a few people due to some weather conditions, so we will get through this. We do have 3 members here, so we do have a voting quorum. So we can conduct business tonight. I'd like to begin with approving or amending the agenda. Any comments or requests from?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
I'll second.
Okay. Play motion, second, Dave. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay,
Jump the gun.
pass, that's okay. It counts. Okay, for consent agenda item, we are looking at the minutes from the October 16th meeting. And that's in our packets. And are there any opinions or amendments to that meeting minutes? If not, can I get a motion to approve the minutes as presented?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Okay, motion. Second. All those in favor of approving the minutes from October 16th, 2025, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion passes. Okay, on our first item or the next item is a public hearing. 3.1, which is the Simonette property variances. Did I say the last name correct? Simonette, sorry, Simonette. And this is a public hearing for variances for I guess for a rezoning, and I think we're just talking about the variances for tonight.
No rezoning yet.
Just the variances, okay, so not the combination on all that, just the variances, okay. I guess at this point in time, I'd like to open the public hearing. And if anyone wants to stand up and say something in public, please go to the podium, click on the mic. You'll see the green light come on like it is here. State your name and your address and make your comment. Oh. Beg your pardon? Oh, okay, I'm sorry, thank you. Thank you, sir. Can I get a background on the on what is being proposed tonight?
Yes, absolutely. Good evening, commissioners. So as mentioned and as noted on your agenda, we have variances for your consideration this evening that involve 3 existing PIDs. I'm gonna put my screen up here on the TVs just because there's quite a few things that go into this. I think. Can I share my screen, Steve?
Yeah.
Oh, here we go. I just had to make the window bigger. Perfect. It says it's sharing, but it's not on the TVs.
Okay.
There we go. Okay. So the parcels that we're discussing this evening is this large parcel here. This one with the existing home, and then this narrow line. Essentially, the applicants are proposing to reconfigure these lots into once the screen switches, this configuration that's in your packets to allow for a buildable area, home site. That is where my cursor is. I can zoom in just a little bit here. So the lot lines would be reconfigured here to create this buildable area here. And then continue all the way to the end of the larger parcel that then this lot would convey part of the large parcel as well. So making a 5-acre lot with the new home, the home that doesn't exist currently, and then the lot 2 where the home already exists would be 20.89 acres. Prior to them actually submitting for preliminary plat application, they're submitting for these variances for lot width at the road. The requirement that the city has, this is less than that, as well as lot width at the front yard setback where the home is. We require, for that, the lot width is the same at the front yard setback than or the same and also up to code as it is here. But since this narrow strip already has existed, and they're hoping to reconfigure to have some buildable area because the rear lot is mostly wetland, not the entire thing in the map that I had up earlier does show, and this is just the Scott County shoreline. This isn't an official survey, which they do have, but just to give kind of an idea of this, the Credit River back here. So lots of natural features that prevent buildability in the larger parcel of the lot. The property is zoned rural residential and it would stay rural residential. That would not be in their plans. And I do want to add that you can see here there's an existing kind of dirt access, and we did speak with the county. They did not get me their comments until the packet was submitted. But Craig Jensen with Scott County has said that with that existing dirt access, they would permit a driveway permit, no problem. So
Okay.
I think that's what I have for my general synopsis, but when the hearing is done, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Okay, I guess, and then at this point, go ahead and have the public hearing, as I had said before. Once again, as the planning commission, we do not make a final decision tonight. This is a hearing. We will then ask preliminary questions, go over the variance request and application, and then make a recommendation, which will then go on forward to the city council, which then will make the final judgment. So at this point in time, this is a preliminary hearing to kind of get started, and then we make a recommendation, which moves on forward. If anyone would like to stand up and make a public comment at this time, we welcome you to do so. Turn on your mic. Okay. Yeah.
Can you hear me? Okay. Good evening, members of the Planning Commission. My name is Mark Oslin. I'm a partner at Mueller, Cheskis, and Oslin in Prior Lake. And I represent Anna and Matthew Olson, who reside at 796 Credit River Boulevard. On that survey you just saw, they're the house that the two driveways kind of traverse next to in between this. I'm here tonight to formally object to the variance application of the Simonette property. As you consider the variance requests tonight, I want to emphasize that you're acting in a quasi-judicial capacity tonight. Your role is to apply the legal standards established by Minnesota Statute 462, 357, subdivision 6, and the Credit River zoning ordinance to the facts presented. The law requires that variances only be permitted when they are in harmony with the general purpose and intent of the zoning code, consistent with the city's comprehensive plan, and when an applicant establishes that the particular difficulties associated with the project are complying with the official zoning code and statute. Statutory test for practical difficulties requires 3 elements, all of which must be satisfied. First, the property owner proposes the use of the property in a reasonable, not permitted manner. Second, the plight of the landowner is due to circumstances unique, not created by the landowner. And if the variance is granted, will not alter the essential character of the locality. With regard to the reasonable use requirement, while single-family residential use is permitted in rural residential districts in the city, this alone does not satisfy the variance criteria. The applicant must demonstrate that the variance itself is necessary for reasonable use, not merely that the proposed use is permitted. My clients and I believe that that has not been established. In terms of unique circumstances, what I guess has been submitted prior to the meeting and my review, my clients would state that this fails to demonstrate that this hardship is unique compared to other residential rural zone properties. Wetlands and access limitations are common conditions to rural property, and do not necessarily constitute a hardship under the ordinance, under the statute. Simply put, as stated under the city's zoning code, this lot is undevelopable. And to offer a variance simply because it's undevelopable under the city code cannot create the hardship that is referred to in the law. In terms of the essential character, this is obviously rural property. And this would fundamentally, especially with regard to my client's interests, given that their house is right next to where this driveway is going to go, it would fundamentally change the essential character of their parcel and the surrounding parcels, which is currently low density with adequate space between parcels. I guess simply put, I guess you don't move to a place like my clients did and buy it with the expectation that, you know, there's going to be a driveway smack dab outside your house, which is, you know, a lot of what their concern is for tonight. The proposed driveway entrance off County Road 68 does prevent some safety hazards that I don't know if the record necessarily addresses. My client's concern is that that's going to get kind of painted over throughout this process, and they're going to be left with not only a nuisance in terms of the driveway, but also an awkward turnout with their driveway right there. There's a curve right there with limited sightlines, with a very high 55-mile-an-hour speed limit, which I guess creates potentially some risks for both future residents, motorists traveling. Notably absent from the record is any analysis of this in terms of traffic, in terms of response from an emergency standpoint, how to navigate this. Given what is being decided tonight, this will have a real and significant impact on my client's property. I guess their expectation was that that would at least be thought through when considering this. In terms of the topographical challenges on this site, based upon my review of what's in the Planning Commission's packet, doesn't seem like this has been evaluated very strenuously. There contains at a certain point an 8-foot elevation change from high to low, resulting in my understanding is a slope of about 25%. This steep topography would potentially create unstable and unsafe conditions for the driveway construction and surrounding areas. There's some erosion concerns. Proposed development would require substantial tree removal, I would add, which would again alter the character of the neighborhood, which is residential in character, and you hate to see mature trees have to go, and you know, that's going to have a real impact on my client's property. Like I said, my clients have enjoyed years of privacy and tranquility out in this secluded environment. Approval of these variances would permanently and irreversibly alter this character. Vehicle headlights, as I stated before, would be directed towards my client's house. In terms of noise, having neighbors that are on that side much closer. I guess to my mind, I'm not sure that there's anything that in terms of conditions that the city could put on this that could mitigate some of these concerns. I guess perhaps they would be open to that, but in terms of what I'm seeing, I'm not sure there's a whole lot of ability to mitigate these factors. As I stated before, the variance application doesn't necessarily have the type of analysis that my clients were hoping to see, and I believe is the city's obligation in terms of traffic, in terms of emergency access. Critical component is the effect that this will have on neighboring properties' market values, and there doesn't seem to be any supporting findings in the agenda, which opine one way or the other about market values. Or in terms of what type of municipal services will need to be provided to this parcel, if any, and any analysis there. I guess in closing, I would say the requested relief, the requested variances exceed the minimum necessary standards required by the ordinance. The proposal seeks to reduce the minimum required road frontage from 150 feet to only 67 feet, and that is a substantial departure. We're not talking about a few feet on the margins. We're basically creating a new standard here, saying that this lot never in a million years under the zoning ordinance would be allowed, but for whatever reason, we're going to allow it by a variance, which I think creates a difficult precedent going forward when you're trying to apply this evenly across the community. Again, it appears that this lot is just a narrow lot that now is trying to be, created into something that is developable, with the ordinance kind of thrown to the wind. In terms of the comprehensive plan, there is a lot of talk about eliminating non-conforming lots, and to my mind, this would just be creating further non-conformities. So tonight, my clients are asking for a recommendation to the city council to deny these variances for the reasons that we stated, most notably that this is going to have a huge impact on their life and their biggest investment. So I thank the council, or excuse me, the commission, for their time tonight. My clients are present. They asked me to address the commission, but in terms of questions or concerns or communication, certainly they're available if they can add anything. So if the commission has any specific questions for me, I can address those right now, or else leave the time to anybody else that wants to present.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No. Okay.
Hi, I'm Brian Simonet, the one asking for the variance. I probably should have been here first just to give a little background of kind of what we have going here. So my family and I also made our biggest investment, which is this property. When we first purchased this property, this was Scott County. Credit River was not incorporated at this point. In talking with the county, we have full documentation that shows, they told me that this was a lot of record. This is a buildable lot. There's a lot of things that go into that. Some of the stuff is over my head, but they had told me when I purchased this property that everything was good as far as that goes. I made the purchase of the property, didn't have the finances to build a house immediately. In talking with Greg Wagner, he said, well, maybe it's switching to Credit Rivers Incorporated. So he's like, sometimes they might be a little cheaper than a county. Well, turns out we ended up having to do all these variances and this good stuff. I was told we had to go through wetland delineation, approve septics. What I was told from Cindy Nash is that this is an extremely unique piece of property, and that's what variances are created for. Some of that stuff's true. It's 67 feet at the road, but it's a very unique piece of property. And she looked me in the eyes and said, this is why they create variances. Cindy Nash was the old planet here. I had been given enough information where they were comfortable with me moving forward to do a full wetland delineation. This house is nowhere near any wetlands, meets all wetland setbacks. The right of way from the city, or from the county, there's been no issues with that. They came out and took a look at it. You guys have obviously talked to them also. You can drive down Credit River Boulevard and there's many driveways that are very close together, including another driveway right next to it that's right on the curve. There is adequate viewing from that curve. There's never been an incident on that curve. I've lived next to that lot for 30 years with my father Joe before I moved out. But so we went through all these steps. My family and I have burned up all this money, and now we're sitting here at a point of variance. So I just wanted to give that little background.
So, Brian, just a quick question. So you currently live in the other house on the other
I don't.
property?
My father does.
Ah, gotcha. Okay,
I just grew up there. But yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So
No,
you,
I live in Prior Lake right now.
You bought the lot from your father then, or in the past? or
No, I bought that from, Lauren Gross. He was a lawyer out of Bloomington. But I did all my research with with the county before I had purchased it.
Sure.
And they gave me their blessing. We talked to Janice from the highway department, everyone, and said, hey, you're good to purchase this piece of property. We owe you a building right because it's a lot of record from 1974, whatever it was.
So what year did you buy it?
That in 2017, don't hold me to it, but right,
That's fine.
right close to there.
Okay. Good. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Anna Olson and I own property closing this. I've grown up on this property. My grandfather essentially owned all the property and split this up between our house and Simonette's, and one other. And his hope and our vision for our family is always to just preserve this land and our privacy. Where that house is being proposed to be, I won't see it in the summer. In the winter I will, but that driveway that goes right behind my house interrupts me and my family and my children and everything that my grandfather and my family hoped to keep sacred, our privacy. And so I would just hope the city would take that into consideration and hold the standards of everything they have here to protect the rural area that we live in.
Thank you. Anybody have any questions for any of the people who've spoken so far? Okay. Okay, yes, at this point, I'd close the public hearing. I make a what? Oh, I'm sorry, okay. Okay, I guess, anybody else want to go up to the mic and make a public comment on this? Going once, going twice, going 3 times? Okay. At this time, I'd like to make a motion, I'd like to get a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make that motion.
Thank
I'll
you.
second.
Okay. Motion made and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Okay, with the public hearing. Okay, I guess then we have some discussion. I think a lot just been said, kind of unpack here. Now I guess this goes back to Planner Strickler. As far as some of the comments that were made by I guess the attorney, are these things that need to be considered, or is there any other things that could have been considered in this?
Sorry, that's a really general question.
I know, I'm sorry, I'm just, well, they said that, I guess the comment is that there wasn't enough research into this according to the packet, is that?
Sure, so my interpretation of that was specifically about the driveway location and the access on the road, and if we reached out to Scott County, it's a county road, and Craig Jansen provided his feedback to myself and Shane, the city engineer. And typically for variances, they submitted everything that we would consider a complete application for a variance. Now, for a multi-lot development, things like that, we may require a traffic study or an impact study or things like that. And typically for one home in a residential neighborhood, that's not a standard procedure that we would require now.
Right, okay. Okay, thank you. Yeah, I think based on the packets I've seen in the past, it's basically the research I've done I've seen is inadequate. So I think, did anybody make any comments or questions?
Would it be possible to, Brian, if you had shared the driveway or no?
With,
With your dad, with your.
that, I don't think that would be a problem. But it already, his already, that's one time.
Right.
Yeah. We used to create the bigger.
Great.
And. Nobody can hear you, so, yeah, I.
Want to go to the mic, please? Yeah, yeah, I would, if you. Please go to the mic and just.
So we already do have a permit for the driveway from Scott County. It's just, it's not a hearsay. We have the permit. Also, this road, when they did the evaluation on it, there is a road approach that's always been there. So if you go at the 1970 GIS in Scott County,
Mhm.
you can see that that road was an extension of Dakota since 1970.
Mhm.
It's always been there. It's already built up. There's culverts in. It's always been there.
Mhm. Okay.
That's what that lot's for.
Yeah.
It was for the road.
Correct. Yes.
Mhm. Okay. Now, I know that we were only talking about the variances tonight, and now has the lot been modified at this point in time, or is that,
No, they would submit that after, if these variances were recommended for approval and the council approved them, then they would submit that preliminary plat you're seeing here in your packet. That would be the next.
well, that exhibit that they gave us here?
Yeah, so they wanted to wait to submit that until they do variances.
Okay, I see that. Now, would that then come back to
Yes, it
us
would.
again?
Yep.
Okay, I was just,
Yeah, so some of those details about that would be better set for that process, because here we're really just trying to focus on the lot width and the lot, or the lot frontage, and then the width at the front yard setback of the home.
Mhm.
If those are the variances needed to get to this configuration. So any sort of other design things in that would come into play when they submit their preliminary plat application, if the city council were to approve variances.
yeah, when I was looking at the packet and I saw this, I was wondering, would this have been something that both would have been presented at the same time?
Sometimes some applicants can choose to do it that way, but in this instance, it was just variances that were submitted.
So, okay, so we're talking about variances before that.
Yeah, that's all the
Okay,
greater recommendations.
I see,
Yeah.
okay. And so that, and I guess that's when the question came up as far as utilities, I guess, the main thing is that according to I think it's section 35 for residential rural, you have to have at a minimum of at least 2.5 acres for septic system. And I can see on the drawing here, they do have a septic layout with an alternative septic
Yep.
layout on that. And I'm assuming then some of the lines on the side, those are the side variance footage. Is that what that's
So
about?
they met, the side yard lot line is shown here, and they do meet that. You can see the corner of the proposed house would be right on that line.
Mhm.
It's because the lot isn't wide the whole way through that they need that setback, that front. They meet all of the setbacks, they don't meet the width at the setback.
Okay,
That's the variance.
so that's the width
Mhm.
part with the
Yeah.
driveway.
Yeah, because the lot is a unique shape because of the existing strip that they would utilize for the driveway. And the reason why the lot line is angled is because otherwise the existing home, his father's home, would become non-compliant if it became a 90-degree angle or if it approaches differently. We don't want the existing home to be compliant.
Right.
So this is the best configuration possible.
Okay, based on,
So they need that.
I see.
variance.
Okay.
So I get this combining of two lots, why just there's no reason to combine the third? Is that, yeah, how does that go?
Is now built into the new configuration. So the site plan, yeah, so that the large lot that has Credit River going through it,
Yep.
Yeah,
the new lot would have essentially a straight line going here.
Yep.
And then this
Go to
here,
that.
so it was 3 lots, now it's 2, it's proposed to be 2,
Sure.
yeah.
Okay.
Instead of 3, yeah.
They didn't want to plan a lot.
Yeah, I didn't want it landlocked and they have to go. The city also has a requirement that in order to build a home, you have to be on a platted property. Right now, there meets and bounds description. And so that's why this isn't just a lot reconfiguration, they're replatting it, or platting, it hasn't even been platted, they would be platting it. To then have the whole help, because it was just a configuration of the lot, or our ordinances.
Okay,
Got it.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, there's gonna be one home
On
on,
the new lot, that's 5 acres,
With-
5.74, and then the existing home would be on a 20.89 acre lot, so we are making 2 lots instead of the 3 lots.
gotcha.
yeah, okay. Yeah, that's,
So how far is the Olson's home from the proposed driveway?
Probably within 50 feet.
And then how far will the house be?
About 800. The house would be 8 though.
mhm. Okay,
Maybe more, maybe closer to 1,000 feet
mhm.
through the woods.
Yep.
My dad's house would actually be closer to it than mine.
Mhm. Yeah, we can see in your exhibits where kind of go up that once narrow piece and then into what would be your father's property, and then you kind of angle in a little bit and then you continue that through the 20-acre lot, which would become part of that. I see. Hmm. Oh,
Yeah, well, if the county already gave you a driveway permit, it's not really. Doesn't really have anything to do with us, and then
well,
if the house, the new proposed house is. That far away from the Olson's house, and. I guess
well,
Well, can I,
sure.
it's not the house that's an issue. They did.
Please go to the podium.
yeah, yeah, please.
Matt Olson, I own the house that's in the middle. We have a driveway on this side, we have a drive, now we wanna put a road on this side. The house isn't an issue. Build the house back there. We don't care. We can't see the house. This driveway is literally the way my house is situated on the property. It's been that way for 40 years. This is literally running into looking in my living room, my family room. Light headlights would be coming down a hill off this driveway, literally right into the back of my house. It's been trees, it's been empty for 40 years, and now we want to put a highway through there with cars and traffic. Yeah, we say it's residential, but who's to say down the road there's not going to be, 5 or however many acres, if there's pole sheds going in and construction traffic, who knows what's happening. Way businesses are being run out of there, we don't know. So our only issue is the driveway, and it's 67 feet wide. It's a requirement by law to be at least 150 feet wide. We don't meet that, so we're asking for no to the driveway. House is fine. Reroute that driveway onto, run 3 driveways off the one. I guarantee you there's a way to do it. Probably a shorter distance with less damage to property and nature, you know what I mean? That's my thought on it anyways. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I appreciate that's kind of what it seemed like the driveway was yeah,
Mm,
so I'm just trying to think. I mean, we really have nothing to do with the driveway is the problem,
well,
because we don't get driveway, it's a county road.
yeah,
I guess I don't know how,
yeah, it's an interesting looking, it looks like a clothespin in a way, just you have just those 2 narrow pieces. And then of course what's it, the Olson property that's right in the middle of them. And I think the Olsons have said that it's the driveway is their main concern on this. So. Okay. Yeah.
Mm.
I you can see that, that's where that's the sticking point. I don't
I
know.
mean, whether we grant the variance or not, they. If they have the permit for the driveway, they can still put the driveway in, if there's a house.
Mhm. Right. Okay, how wide is that? 65,
67.
67 feet? 67 feet? Okay, trying to visualize what that would look like. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
It's as wide as Dakota. Right across there's a gravel road right there.
Right there, yeah. Yeah, they see the map on that.
I guess where I come down, these are tough calls, right? I mean, this is, nobody
Yeah.
wants to see their life change. On the other hand, someone owns a property that, it's gonna be one house on 5 acres, which our law allows for, 1 on 2.5, so you got twice the land.
Mhm.
You got another 20.8 acres next door. So it doesn't dramatically change the nature of the city. I mean, these are tough calls. I hear you.
Yeah.
I guess, I mean, nobody, again, I appreciate the Olsons inherited the property or got it from their grandfather. They don't want the change. It's kind of harsh, but this is what happens.
Yeah.
They could have stepped forward and bought the land, right? It's not fun. Maybe it's not fair, but they could have, and that would have protected them a little bit more. So these are tough, but I guess where I fall is, I recommend approval.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm just I know it's, if you want to go up to the mic, please.
So I wish I could have had my wife and 2 boys here also and talk about how it's life changing for us. We lived in a townhome for many years because we took our down payment money for a house, purchased this property. If this is life changing for someone, I would say, I would be absolutely devastated. If what I was told for the last 6 years was unable to proceed. And I see the Olson's view on the driveway, it's their side yard and they're worried about coming down the hill. In the winter and you can see headlights. But it would be very devastating to me and my family. In the same respect, that it would be devastating to theirs.
Sure. I mean, it's again and again, right? We hate to see neighbors going after each other. It seems like the whole world's going after each other. Would you be amenable to putting up some form of screening or appropriately?
I would have to see the definition of screening, but I mean, that whole driveway could not the whole driveway, but pine trees and
Right.
whatever, yeah, I mean. I would beg you to go walk the driveway even now with the leaves off and I'm not the one living there, so I guess it's not mine to say, but
Mhm.
I guess it never crossed my mind that would even be a big deal. Especially off what I was told from day one when I purchased this property.
Mhm. So, yeah, I think with Commissioner Martell, I kind of agree that, neighbors, when they, move in, you try to get along with each other. And I guess I did the same thing with having to take down a fence when I moved into my new property too, because they didn't like it.
I grew up next to them for 30 years.
Oh, you know each other? Okay. Yeah, I think that if I look at what was presented here is that every effort is to meet the variances are once again a tool to allow properties to be used. If someone has bought property, I always like to see people be able to find enjoyment out of it. It's kind of a interesting. Okay.
So one of you brought up the question of screening. And just in my discussions with my clients, they indicated that, perhaps screening could be a reasonable solution to this, and, you know, it'd have to be, you know, probably pine trees and, you know, something that would keep some leaves in the winter, but that could potentially be a solution, so.
Sounds great.
Yeah, that would be something that would be worked
Yeah.
out between the two parties, I imagine. I don't think. So,
Well,
okay,
if it makes some, yeah, I mean, I think we can do it. Can we say with the condition of making
I,
honest effort or, you know,
well,
providing screening?
So just caution the commission from conditioning any.
yeah, I don't,
Okay.
yeah, I don't think we
Alright.
would, you would
Well-
make that condition. That'd be something I think they would work out as individual parties. I don't think we can mandate that as any kind. I think then, with what's been discussed and, I guess,
You ready for a motion?
yeah, I think they're ready for a motion. Let's see where, the way. I think the recommendation, staff recommends that we adopt the staff report into record, accept the application, testimony, exhibits, and other evidence presented into record, and recommend approval of the variance to permit the reconfiguration of the lot that does not contain the minimum footage required on a public road, and then recommend the approval of the variance to permit the recondition of the lot that does not meet the 150-foot width minimum at the setback line extending to the location of the principal structure.
So moved.
Okay, do we get a second?
Yeah, I didn't hear it, sorry, Cal, I didn't hear it first.
As he made the
Yeah.
motion to approve.
I second the motion.
Okay, all those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. The variances have been approved to go forward to the city council.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys will make a good faith effort at trying to screen as best as possible and with an evergreens or something.
Well, yeah, if we can work this out, that'd be great.
No general business. Or number 4.
Okay, yeah, we have one, okay, yeah, excuse me, general business. Went on to 4.1 monument development identification entry signs. Can we get some background on that, please?
Yes, so I'm sharing the screen again. Hopefully it isn't lag. So this came to staff's attention through a building permit that was submitted for monument signage for Yellowstone that likely remember plats and final plats that have gone through, it's not showing. There we go, through the council and through that, oh, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. Through that application, this is the proposed monument entry to the Yellowstone development. Through that application, it was determined by staff that our sign code doesn't really allow for that
Mhm.
right now. But as you likely know from driving around Credit River, we have Crestview right out here that has a monument sign.
Mhm.
The ranch of Credit River has theirs, monument entry sign, and then I think I have a picture of Territories here as well. Those are, I mean, so we have them in the city. They look very nice, and we know the developers want to include them in the hard work and that they are building and doing, but our code allows it sort of, but not really. So staff thought that we should bring this to the planning commission for discussion to permit it or start discussing a draft ordinance so that we can start allowing what's already been allowed. And starting with, like I said, the Yellowstone development put in theirs, and so some of the language that I put in your packet for the draft. I left some things open for discussion, like the height and the square footage and things like that.
Right.
Because there's a wide variety of what we've seen in the city so far. I was hoping that, I'm glad that Ted is here. I even said, Chris, I was hoping that he'd come to talk about what the height and that that they're typically looking for, because
Mhm.
they're nice grand entrances that,
Right.
right now I think we have a 10-foot maximum, which is none of those out here, yeah, exactly, because they just weren't permitted. And I think likely what the best route will be is we can have some standards in the sign, but I think just having them included in the plating process is probably the easiest way to just
Mhm.
get them through. But I don't know, Ted, if you want to add anything.
No, I think you did pretty good with that. It is a little difficult with the planning process because a lot
Okay.
of stuff isn't designed.
Sure.
We're going around and around on so many other things that. I think it's working.
Yeah, it's great.
So, I think the biggest issue that comes up is the height.
Yeah.
But the height in acreage properties is important. JB Woodford has built a lot of houses over the years. We always encourage people, if you're gonna spend money on stone, don't do it down low. Down low works when you're 30 feet from the road. It doesn't work when you're 300 or 400 feet from the road. You would use your brick dollars and go higher with them, otherwise you wouldn't see the street, then the shrubs cover it anyway.
Mhm.
So, and the scale of the lots, that site is 260 acres and they're all minimum of 2.5 acre home sites. We need to have the scale and we already have to be 30+ feet off the road, so.
Right.
If we put a small monument, you just lose it. The short monuments, in my opinion. With snow in the wintertime, you lose them altogether because they get covered up. I think the height is what we're looking for, to make a statement for a long time. The one in Yellowstone we're building is all concrete and steel inside. So there is no maintenance on it. I don't want any maintenance.
Right.
We built Crestview, and that was 25 years ago, and there's been no maintenance. And in Crestview, we actually have little ones on the other corners.
Mhm.
So, and those have, I don't want any, the Yellowstone monument has got a copper top on it. And that big side panel is made out of cord and 10 steel, which is steel out of Montana that rusts.
The Yellowstone panel, the one
Yeah.
that'll say
Yeah,
Yellowstone.
it's gonna have
Yeah.
a rusted steel panel in front and just the yellow letters.
Sure.
So that, it doesn't ever need to be painted, that rusts in so deep and then just stops and preserves the metal. There's stuff out in Montana that been there 100+ years and it doesn't go in. You might get a little rust staining on the stones where it attaches, but that kind of adds to the patina of the whole package. It's supposed to look that way. I want them to go in and look 100 years old when they go in. Like it's been there forever, not something new and polished, it's supposed to look. And then on the backside, I don't know if it's on the backside or.
I don't have that in this document. I'm sure I could dig it out.
Leaving part of the stones out. A panel, and then every homeowner that buys a lot, their name gets put on a brick that gets engraved and it gets embedded in the back of that. For all the founders or the settlers of the neighborhood. When we did Terra Farms, if you've driven by that one. On the backside is a big granite stone that's printed and has a picture of John and Carolyn and Jody, their daughter, when Jody was like 4. And that's kind of when, close to when they bought the property back in '68, it tells their whole story. Well, we don't have that kind of story to tell with Yellowstone, because it was owned by the Wassey Foundation, and then it was owned by Territories, then it was owned by, a bunch of different hedge funds, and now we're developing it. There ain't a family story to tell. So we're trying to make the family story now with new people that are, and everybody likes it. And then there's another one in there too, where it's gonna be a smaller one for over on Whisper Way.
Yeah.
To differentiate Yellowstone from territory to make,
Yeah.
and that's a smaller one.
And I think that was another thing in the ordinance was right now we only allow, I think, for 1 or 2. And like you said, there's multiple entrances and I don't think for my gut with commission and council through development is that we want to have these neighborhoods look nice. The code is just not allowing that right now.
And yeah, we had a landscape architect set this up. He did the ones in Crestview actually 25 years ago, Jason Alney. And he's really good with scale and getting it to be appropriately sized for what we're working. On a smaller, tighter neighborhood. Like when you start developing north of 185th on smaller residential lots, this scale would probably not be appropriate. It's too big.
Right.
But for big acreage lots and big homes, it'll catch your attention. And part of driving it up higher was as you're coming in on 210th, there's kind of a hill that you crest and you come down. I would like people to kind of see the monuments before they get there
Mhm.
a little bit, and then as you go over the hill, then you see the full monument. And there's no landscaping plan for around it. The actual big jumper stones in the bottom is gonna be the landscaping.
Mhm.
So there's not gonna be anything that needs to be dealt with on the bottom. Just as a help, you know, I think they do serve the communities well. I think we didn't put one in over in Harvest Bluffs over in Spring Lake Township, and everybody asked, when's monument, where's, is this gonna help? Everybody wants to identify where they.
Sure. Yeah.
What calls this one 80 feet?
No, I think it ends up being about 18.
It's like, yeah, cause so the, up to the Yellowstone part is 8 feet 6 and yeah, to
Okay,
the Yellowstone edge,
16, so.
yeah.
okay, is that a figure of a person for scale on the right there? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
And there's another picture somewhere where it shows a car.
yeah, I don't have, this is just copied into a Word doc, so I could
Okay.
go through everything, so I don't have those pulled up, but.
These will be LED lights, so they don't burn any. Then
Yeah.
they'll come in from the residents here.
Mhm.
And I just pay that resident enough money up front. The LED lights, you'll never accumulate any real fees for the electric work.
Oh, sure.
Work that out, those two customers.
mhm.
So that's why this is coming to you, because we got this application, but then we realized, oh,
Don't
these
have
are
to-
all around this.
Yeah, we've got to judge it against really.
Yeah,
And, you know, I was gonna get started on, it. I was pushing Claire. And then she, she says, okay, go ahead. Well, then winter hit. So it's staked, the stones are ordered, the cord and steel is being worked on, but it didn't start yet because winter hit and I don't wanna tent it just to put up the. Paul Carney's gonna do a block foundation, concrete, and this is all solid concrete underneath the ground. And then the superstructure in here is all built with block. And then Tim and Billy also come in and put the stones on. The stones are all real stone, not the artificial. It'll be a.
yeah.
Copper tops.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wish I had them in already. The goal is to have them in before the spring preview.
Oh,
Excuse me, the artisan tour of June.
sure.
Haven't done it.
Yeah.
The spring preview is February. It's too fast.
Yeah, it'll still be winter anyways.
Right.
But if you have questions, you know, because you're building an ordinance not for Yellowstone, you're building it for the whole
Right.
community. If I can help at all, be here to ask what answer questions.
Okay,
Thank you, Ted.
So one thing that kind of comes to mind for me is I'm kind of getting sick of all the over the top lights that everyone has.
Mhm.
And like obviously lights are perfectly fine. It's just we probably don't need them blindingly bright and yeah. It seems like
I don't think I even had something about lights in my draft, did I? But that's, I can definitely,
Something
I've
that-
jotted that down so I can incorporate that, something.
A good point. These will kind of just look like there's a flame inside.
Right, yeah, I know.
So you can see it.
Yeah.
light up.
I'm all for lights, it's just the over the top. Just,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah, most neighborhoods kind of frown.
right,
Yeah.
and it's more, it's just in general, it seems like. Everybody wants a spotlight or 10.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So. I guess that was kind of the
Yeah.
thing that came to mind first for me, I guess.
Yeah, it was like Christmas. Remember those lights?
Oh, those are fine, it's just the spotlights are.
I hear you saying,
Yeah.
they could be not, they're so cheap now.
Right, no, exactly.
Buy and run.
well,
They
I'm
live-
glad the Christmas lights are exempt. I'd probably in trouble. But,
Everybody always keeps telling me it's for security, it's for security. They're, for years and years, everybody just had one yard light, the thing was as dim as could be, and that was all you needed.
A big dog.
Right.
So Claire, what, I just like, you got the memo for discussion, I guess, what?
Yeah.
are you working up to,
Well, I think, go ahead.
no, I don't,
Well, I was looking at section 11 on signs in the ordinances. And I think we're focusing on 11-3, number 5, which is the identification
yeah,
signs.
development identification.
Okay,
Signs, yeah.
And so that paragraph is what was mentioned in your opening paragraph here. And then with the sample language that was included in the packet, would that then be kind of a
Like in.
substitution for that number 5 and expanding on number 5?
Yeah, exactly, cause right now number 5 is pretty limited. It
Yeah.
allows for very little, it's pretty short height. It's, I think the one identification signage was like a supplementary one, so. What it allows now is much less than what is already happening here, and so yes. The draft language was something to consider starting to workshop to add into, 11-5.
So it'd be 11-5, section of all these
Yeah,
recommended choices.
if you wanted it to be that long.
No. And then I think what we're talking about in your sample language is the section 5 for the dimensions that,
Yeah,
which was coming up.
and that's most of what I left open
I saw that.
XX there for kind of that discussion, and I didn't want to come up with a number without discussing it. with
Yeah,
you.
and I see Ted's comment that if you have a large development with 2 acre lots and there's some big houses out there, something that you had shown probably would look appropriate for a big place.
Spend the money, but it would pay anything back.
Well,
It
and,
would be there as you drive past it,
mhm,
but it'll look like a mailbox.
yeah. So I guess when we look at the maximum height parts where versus an 18-footer versus 7 or whatever else, I guess it should be hard to put a number there because it depends on where you're putting it and where you're, what the,
I would say less than, yeah, I think
Yeah.
less than 20 feet though. I mean, 3 times the size of a guy is, it's a pretty good sign.
yeah, that's,
Agree with that.
yeah, that's,
I think, we all think that we need to regulate that,
yeah,
but common sense, I think will regulate most of it. I don't think you're gonna see them get higher. There's my point there.
right.
Sure.
But that scale, that size works good on 210, as you come over that hill, to be able to see something. And I kind of copied it from, I don't know if you guys have ever been to Garmisch up in northern Wisconsin, it's a little.
Oh, yeah. On Lake Namacoggin.
Yeah, if you, their entrance monuments are like 15 feet, they're old stone,
Mhm.
and the big lights look like they got candles burning. That's what I was going for with this. But I wanted a little bit more of the Montana feel, rugged, the square stone instead of the round field stone that Garmisch has.
Yep.
So I think a little bit common sense will keep it where, I don't think somebody's gonna propose it, they're really expensive too. I don't think a developer's gonna propose something on height or size that you're gonna have to follow. Cause you're not gonna want it to look silly.
Right.
And just financially, it's not gonna,
And,
Yeah,
and I,
it's gonna get.
200 grand by the time.
and the comment is that the zoning would kind of determine that too, so.
Yeah, unless you need something different on the smaller, but that would dictate a little bit too.
Yeah, that, I don't
How
know.
about section 6, minimum setback, 5 to 10 feet from the property line sounds pretty tight, doesn't it?
But that's outside the right, so it's like 5 feet
Yeah.
back from 30 feet back from the right.
Yeah,
Right
Okay.
away.
Got it.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, I can show you how, that's a good question though, but that's a sport one. About the bigger map.
If your monument falls over, we can't have it take out a house.
Fair enough, but they're built where they can't fall up. See, here's the street. This is the right of way, so down, see, this is the ditch.
Yep.
And this is as the ditch comes back up, so. Road's way over here, ditch, and then it's back from the other side. And that's part of why the scale is important. Otherwise, you push them so far off the road that if it's something small, you won't notice it.
So you just have an easement though on the
Yes,
property.
Yeah.
yes,
that-
yep. Yep, on each one of these and on Whisper Way too.
how tall are the ones on Whisper Way again, Ted? Cause I'm just thinking,
About 6 feet.
Yeah.
6'8".
I don't have it in this draft, but I think if we have something that's like, one entrance can be up to 18 feet and the remaining can be up to 6 feet or something like that, so that somebody doesn't come in and then they can have 4 18-foot entrance signages.
And that's
Um,
our main entrance to Yellowstone. is
Right.
210, even though we're gonna connect to the ranch in a couple spots and we connect to territories.
Yep,
This is the closest thing I have to a collector. You know, this would look great on a county road, but we're not on a county road. Yeah, see, this is that back panel. Where all the names are. Every year we'll just add whoever bought that. This shows how it's all built. I designed it so it needs no maintenance. We'll all be dead long time before it falls down. It's all concrete. Concrete and rusted steel.
Got it. What's the width?
7 feet, about a 7 by 7
Okay.
at the base here, this here. And 6 plus the stone, so about 7 by 7 of what you see. This down below. This is all the way out to 14 feet underground. Sure size. Whole concrete truck in each footing. Well, we built the Crestview ones 25 years ago and have required no maintenance.
I ain't
So
gonna
I think
follow.
what Claire's getting at is just the outside of the right of way.
yeah, yep, that was my intent with that.
Got it.
So Claire, is there a way we could get the language so you don't necessarily have to put a number on it? Like, you know, like on the max height, I don't know what that would be, but there's a way,
I understand what you're asking, but I don't,
you know, like,
I can workshop it or I can bring it to my other planners and just see what their thoughts are, because I don't know, because I think every instance is gonna have its own, like,
Right.
you know,
I mean,
every
you-
development is different.
I mean, can you just say or like reasonable or?
1/3. You mean from the other entrances or the other one?
No, I'm talking more like the max height.
Yeah, like if
Oh.
we're dealing with let's say a 15-acre development, that's gonna have
Right.
less homes versus
Yeah,
the size of Yellowstone.
like, is there, you know, a way to say like, you know, a reasonable? I don't know what the language would be, but.
Yeah, I can
Ratio.
try.
I doubt anybody ever proposed one tunnel.
No, no.
Sure. Yeah, I guess,
Yeah.
there's really no reason to.
No benefit.
Yeah, yeah.
It's more expensive, like you said, too.
Yeah,
The
and we're
cost.
just saying maximum height here,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah,
you know, you're right, someone will,
And as you do your other zoning. You know, for the smaller lots, as they start coming up on the north of 185th, you can amend this as.
of
it
course,
comes up.
yeah,
To say this zoning district where we have small lots, then they convert to this, or
yeah,
you could make it kind of fit those
Yeah.
different areas. It's hard to foresee all that future.
yeah.
Right.
that's true.
That's
That's a good point.
exactly.
Everything's amendable.
As we're doing our count.
As I say, the comp plan
Yeah.
too can. Mhm.
Good.
Gotcha.
Good.
Okay,
Any other comments, questions? I don't think we need a vote on this, do we?
no, I'll come back with some more solid language after, since with based on this discussion.
Sure.
If you want it for public hearing next month, we could, or if you want to do one more discussion, I'd leave that to you.
Mm,
I mean, not to go backwards, do we need to worry about the width of this? Not this one, but in the future? I mean, we don't want a billboard up there either.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at, I think I had the ranch up, that's it's wide, but it's also at a curved entrance, you know, it's a little different, so, but yeah, I probably should have put that in.
And, yeah,
the width, yeah.
and that's kind of where I was leaning towards make the language a little more vague, because, yeah, there's some.
Ratio to height, but then let's say, you know, if you half, I don't know, but I'm not an architect, so.
Yeah, I don't know what, you know.
I can do some research.
Yeah.
Territory is pretty wide too, yeah, I had that,
It's true.
I had that one in ranch up.
I just say, don't be obnoxious.
I know,
Don't be
Yeah,
tacky.
and like what's been permitted without a
Yeah.
permit, looks great, I mean.
And
Putting a lot of money into it, a lot of money in real estate behind it. So you're not gonna make it.
No neon.
Here's ranch. I don't know how tall ranch is, but I mean, it's tall, but it's also wide,
All right,
but yeah, I'll
yeah, that's, I think that's,
consider that, yeah.
as you say, I think it's kind of.
What's the limit for, what's the limit for residential? I'm thinking of putting up a, having Ted put one of these on my driveway.
I'd have to pull up the whole code, I don't know,
There you go,
it'd be pretty cool though.
yeah,
Just a monument to myself.
yeah.
Well, you know, it's like the ranches out.
That's
at,
true,
uh,
that's
Yeah,
true.
I was gonna get an old high school gym sign, home to visitors, 4, you know, something like that, so whenever I have company, I could run the numbers up.
There we go.
Exactly.
Perfect, okay, so we've
Yeah.
got that,
Yeah,
we'll add in I'll add in that just difference of like one entrance sign can be up to however many feet, and then those remaining entrances kind of to parse those out, and then
mhm.
come back with some more hard numbers.
Yeah, come back with.
Okay.
Yeah, so this is.
Sounds good, we'll just bring it back for discussion then in February,
Sounds good, good,
or January, sorry.
okay. Okay. Well,
Suppose
that
you want a
conduct our-
motion to adjourn?
okay, we have a motion to adjourn, do I get a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all those in favor of adjourning meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, meeting's adjourned.
Great job, Peter.
Yeah.